our goal with this talk is to really kind of, a lot of you have gotten involved in our display our paid display programs, and we want to go over some of the reasons why you might have gotten involved, but we also want to make sure that we're telling you the ways to make this really successful for you out there. I mean, we at Pride's Corner are very excited about this program. We feel that it's really one of the ways that we at Pride's Corner can help our partners like you sell more plants, and also um, provide more resources for you, really, when it comes down to spring and summer, the busy seasons where many times you got so much going on that sometimes your customers are not able to find you or to be able to talk to you, or you're too busy with other customers. These are things that I think that as you'll see as we go through this, are some of the important things to talk about with the paid display program. So I'm going to do the most crucial part of this talk right now and try to do the dreaded screen share screen thing, which sometimes always feels like it's up. I think we may have had success here. There we go. I'm hoping that's the case. I'm hoping everybody can see the screen here, and that we're ready to go. So like I said, we want to show you some good pictures of stuff, and we want to make sure we're going through from A to Z what goes on with the display with displays, paid display programs. We want to talk about what our responsibilities here are at Pride's Corner in order to make it good for you and to do the best we can to make sure you're being successful. And then we want to pass along some tips. So over the next few minutes, feel free to jump in here if you have any questions about anything. We're more than happy to answer questions. Certainly we'll answer questions at the end also. But having said that, use that chat box. I've got it up on my screen so I can see it. And I'll jump in, and Allison will do some replies as she sees them also. And between the both of us, we'll see if we can answer every question that you have. So thanks again for joining us. And let's talk about display success. That's what we're all looking for. Now, also, there we go. So it's still got to work out the mechanics, obviously. Well, let's talk a little bit about why paid display. Well, let's face it. One of the biggest reasons is that we've just proven that when you display the products together, when you display brands together, they absolutely sell more. People find this particular stat that we've talked about for a couple of years is that the difference between people who set up, for instance, an American Beauty's display, the first year that they do it, as compared to the year before when they might have sold American Beauty's plants, but they didn't display them. When they displayed them the first year, they had an 83% on average increase in AB plant sales. That's a tremendous amount, and we had to look at it a couple times just to see if it was true. It sounded like it was a crazy figure, but it is true, and it just goes to show you the power of the display and probably a lot of the reasons why you've signed up. So 83% for AB plants when compared to the first year, when compared to not displaying the year before. That's impressive. And we have similar figures for Proven Winners. It's, let's face it, Proven Winners has been in the garden centers far longer, and they're really more scattered. There's a lot more brand power even scattered in the garden center. But even when you've been selling them for a while, that people know them, having them together in a display for the first time resulted in a 25% increase in average sales. So displays work. They sometimes they may seem like a pain, and we're going to try to get through some of those pain points today. There's no two ways about it, but there's one thing that they do, and it's you can't deny it, is that when you display the brands together, they absolutely increase sales. So we obviously have talked about how it will increase sales the first time, but what about setting up displays year after year? Does it lose some of its edge? Well, I'm going to tell you that it'd be pretty hard to get an 83% increase in sales each year, but maybe that's a great goal to go for, kind of thing. But what we found as a great, for instance, is that independent garden centers that participated in the AB pay display in 2021 and made their goal redisplayed again in 2022 still saw an average increase in their AB sales of 18%, which is very that's significant. Now, Ben is asking, what's the sample size for those stats? It's a great question. We had last year, I believe it was close to 175 people that were in the American Beauty's Pay to Display program, and a similar amount in our proven winners. So it's a significant enough amount of people that were doing that average. So as you can see across the board, it's really going to increase sales, and it continues to have that effect in the garden center year after year, which I think is a strong point. You can it's almost a no-brainer, obviously, to given those original figures that I gave you, to actually sign up for the first time. But what I really want to show is the fact that this power of the display continues even beyond the first year. And we have two new programs, which we'll go over: our first editions program, which some of you have jumped in on, and our Bloom and Easy program. And I'll guarantee you that when we do those sales figures once again, we're going to see that first year bump that's going to happen, that's going to allow you to sell more of these great plants. So that's really a best reason for why to pay to display, but there's other reasons also. We in the plant industry, for a lot of reasons, we're in this industry. We love plants. There's no two ways about it. And we've been a little bit slower on the uptake when it comes to brands, and yet, when we look at our own lives, when we go out and shop in different places, we use brands a lot when we shop. We just don't do it in plants. So, we're sort of a victim of too much knowledge, if you will. We know the plants. We don't need a brand to shop, but customers, much like we do in our regular life, customers love the idea of brands. It says something to them. It means these group of plants mean something, and I think that's the way that you got to look at brands, is that they are a distinguishing factor for people making a decision. And it makes it easier. Branded displays make it easier for people to make those decisions. And what you guys at garden centers want, and there's no two ways about this, you want consumers that come into your garden center and feel empowered to make a decision. I worked at a garden center. Now it's like in the dark ages. This is 25 plus years ago. But I was always amazed, especially on a busy spring day, how many people left the garden center with an empty wagon, just didn't make a purchase. It's a beautiful day. They felt compelled to go out there. They spent time, they walked around, and then they left. And the reason they left a lot of times is that they didn't feel comfortable making a decision about this sea of plants out there that were just kind of undistinguished. That's where brands make it easier. So they make it easier for the consumer, and it makes it easier for us, quite honestly, when we're out shopping. So the other thing that is important to remember, though, it is really all about your consumer, but let's face it, it's all about what you have going on at your garden center also. Displays make it easy for a team to point customers in the right direction. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. You have people, you have a lot of great people out there, many of who are returning, some of whom are brand new each year. It's a lot of information to try to teach people. And of course, you're bringing in these people many times about, you know, up to the day that they're crashing the gates to get into your garden center. And, it's easy for people working at a garden center to sort of have that deer in the headlights mentality. It makes perfect sense. You're quiet, you're hired in, you can't really afford to have people in earlier. You bring the team in, and all of a sudden it's on. And people are coming in asking a zillion questions, and maybe you have trouble getting people to come in. Maybe you're short a couple people on your team. What all of this is this display is really your helper, and it's your help's helper. It makes it easy for them to point out and to really point people in the right direction so that they can make an informed decision. So that is one of the most underrated things about a display that's very important that you have to remember as to why. So why pay to display? Well, displays make it easier for your team to point customers in the right direction. They're the easy button, the overused easy button that still is it was one of the great ad things that came out in the last decade. Is everybody wants an easy button, and displays are exactly that. So how do you make your displays successful? Well, we're going to give you some good starts on that, but the biggest thing is you got to set it up early. Now, a lot of people say, why should I set up my display early? There's some good looking plants that come in, but I really don't want to set it up until it's time. I don't want to set it up early because maybe it's going to be empty. Maybe the plants are not going to look great. And, I want to do it right, so I'll do it later. And the fact of the matter is that early setup is the way that you do it right. And the reason I say this is because the most important part of getting your display to be effective is actually claiming the land that you're going to do for these displays immediately. Once you start getting stuff coming in, you got all this plant pressure, that kind of thing, and you have all those customers coming in the store, what you thought you could do, all of a sudden you really can't. So it's crucial to get early setup. And one of the things that we at Pride's Corner have looked at, we're 3 or 4 years into the display end of things, and I'll have to say one of our biggest shortcomings was the fact that we didn't talk to you guys out in the garden centers enough about how important it is to set your display up early. Because if you don't get it up early, you're going to run out of time, and you're not going to see the full benefits of what we talked about with that sales bump that you're going to get. So early setup is crucial. You can see this display, even though it's early, it looks pretty good out there. It's appealing. There's some color starting, and you can see it doesn't take long because that's the same display a week or two, a couple weeks later. It doesn't take long for it to really fill in and look good. So setting up your displays before you get busy in the spring gives you more time to find the right spot, and it gives you more time to get your team involved. And let me tell you, it's incredibly important to get your team involved for everybody to get the biggest bang for your buck from these displays. you know, the worst thing that can happen is that you get pumped up as a buyer, and you go in there and you say, man, I'm signing up for all these displays. And then at the last minute, you're going in and talking to your team, hey, we got to put up these displays. Come on, let's go put up we need to put up this, we need to put up this. That that really is not ownership. You got to get your team excited about this, because your team is the one that's really going to make this. They're going to be the ones that benefit from it, because that display is going to help them, as we talked about earlier. But they're also the ones that are going to make it work. They're the ones that are going to make it look great. They're the ones that are going to be invested in it if you allow them to do that. So sometimes you're going to say, well, let's talk about this. And we mentioned it earlier that, maybe there's not enough plants to get started with displays. A lot of deciduous flowering plants. Come on, really, is it going to work? And I got to tell you that is our responsibility. And our responsibility here as a grower is to make sure you have more early plants. And we have gone through, especially American Beauties and Proven Winners, and made sure that we have lots of early plants that you can start that display with. Sure, in the woody end with Proven Winners, they have a good lineup of forsythia, but we also have a great lineup of perennials in there that are looking and popping, so that you can display those together and keep that display filled. Same thing with American Beauties. One of the things we've strived for in our selection of American Beauties throughout the years that we've been doing it is going earlier, making sure that there's great plants that look good on the shelf, on the display early. So it is our responsibility to make sure, as the Prides team, to make it happen for you, and to make sure that you know that we've got plants and that we can deliver them regularly. Many of you people are weekly delivery folks. Some are even more than weekly delivery folks, and we have the ability to make sure that we can get the right plants on those displays that look great early. So setting that up early is not going to be a problem, because we're going to fill it with great looking plants. So how else do you make your display successful? Well, you got to get the POP materials from Pride's Corner also. And we have a big array of POP that we are delivering in a number of different ways. Most of the POP is going to come out with one of your first or second deliveries. We have a protocol in-house that makes sure that we put all this together so that you have everything in hand as early as possible, so that you can set up the display. Now, sometimes some of our sales crew may be out and also may deliver this stuff. We have Tracy, for all you guys that are closer to us, our crack merchandiser, who's also been out there helping you to set up displays occasionally, bringing POP. But the goal is, if you're setting up early, you got to get the point of purchase material early. And we have a great array of POP materials that will make your displays look great. There's a question from Joshua. He's asking, is there a minimum dollar value or piece quantity to get POP material? It's a great question, Joshua. What I can tell you is that for every level of the paid display program that you've signed up for, there is a level of POP we'll be sending to you. So if you've committed to any of the levels, there's 2 levels in AB, as you'll see later on. There's 4 in PW. There's 2 each in FE, first editions, and Blooming Easy. If you've signed up for one of those levels, you will get the POP. The higher level you get, there may be an increase in POP, but you'll get something no matter what if you've signed up for a pay to display program. It's a great question. Thanks. So let's look at some of that POP. American Beauty's native plants. We have the best plants for bees, butterflies, and birds. Some of that will be coming your way. These are great handouts for customers, and they direct people to particular plants that will sell well for you. We have an array of different posters that you can see, all and actually a really nice bench tape, all of which combine to make that package, that selling display that's really important. Luminease, similar poster and bench tape. Again, good looking stuff that will make your display stand out. First editions, we have a number of different things, different posters that we have available to you, again with bench tape. And finally, proven winners, POP materials. We have some excellent posters for this coming year, bench tape. And so we're giving you the tools along with the plants to make this display pop for people. Janet is asking if there's any advice on literature holders that will keep the AB literature from weatherizing. We do have some in-house, and I'll be the first one to tell you that source has been a moving target, but we can, I'll make sure, Janet, we get you some information on that for your AB display. So we'll make sure that we get in touch with you about that. So how do you make your display successful? Again, still on the same topic. Well, we talked about it earlier. You got to get your team involved. You got to get your team to own it. You know, the best way is to kind of get your team together and talk about this display. Talk about what it means. Talk about why you did it and how you need their help to make this happen. Let them use their imaginations. Give them the space. Tell them, just give them the parameters and let them roll. Or, you know, have a contest with people. Have a contest in-house to see who comes up with the best design for this, and then roll with it. People will love getting involved. That's the thing that, you know, a lot of guys come to work at a place like your garden center because they love the idea of working with plants. They want to get people excited because they're excited. This is a way to get your team excited and to get them involved. So I think this is one of the biggest things of making your display successful, is to make sure you get your team involved. But and you know, as you can see from this picture, when they're involved, they're happy. Look at that. You know, they love the plants. And when you make them part of the process, they are going to point people to that. They're going to help people more with that. They're going to be proud of that. And whenever you're proud of something, you want to bring people, especially your customers, to see it. So there's so much good that comes from getting your team to own it. But it's not just that. Also, in the long run, you need help at the display level. What you really need is to find someone who's in charge of that display at your garden center. We call that the display captain. It's been a concept that's been around for a while, but the more we've been in this, the more that it's important that you have help, not just from us at Pride's Corner trying to give you the best plants and when they're ready and everything else, but you need someone on staff that's going to help you, that's going to look out on that display, that's going to keep it great looking, that's going to tell you when you need plants, so that hey, you're a busy guy or busy woman there. Everybody is at the garden center. You need to spread out the responsibility. And the way I look at it is that if you have people that are interested in this, that are interested in moving ahead in your company, this is one of the ways that they can prove themselves. Let them be a display captain for one or two or all of these programs, or split them up if you're doing all four of these things. But make people responsible for them, and they are going to deliver to you, and they're going to feel empowered themselves. So I'm interrupting because I'm looking at the chat box. I understand the purchase quantity for the display program is different for each brand. However, my question is, if we have limited space for these products, well, that's a great question. That's a great question. Yeah, we know that you're not gonna, that if you've committed to 400 plants, you're not bringing in 400 plants right away. You're bringing in 40, 50, 60 plants, depending on your space. It's up to us to tell you the plants that look best right now. And then it's up to you to tell us, hey, I have this space, but we can fill the gaps as we sell. We can get you the plants that you need, and we can tell you what the right plants are. Your Pride's team, your sales teams know exactly what looks great right now. We're helping them out with that as a company here to make sure the team knows what looks great. And you're right, you cannot bring in all those plants at once, but it's just impossible. But you need to have that display, no matter how big it is or small it is, that you're rotating the plants through and you're making them look great. So thanks for bringing in up that question. So you're talking about that display captain. So let's go over again how that display captain makes your life easier. Well, they're going to tell you when you need stuff. They're going to own it. That's important. They're going to help you manage the display inventory. They're going to keep the display organized and neat. This picture is really a great telling picture right here. We see this all the time at different places. We call this kind of generic plant encroachment, where you have a kind of an A/B display like this, and then all of a sudden you have black potted stuff in there. Now, I happen to know this is a native plant, but it's not really part of the display. And with you guys trying to reach that goal of selling those A/B plants and getting that money, this is a great thing to talk about, is to make sure that your display is full. And we can help you with that. Your team, your display captain will help you with that. And it'll continue to circulate those plants through, instead of it being, I got a lot of empty shelves, let me just put this stuff there for now, because if it's there, it's going to probably stay there, and it's going to dilute the power. It's going to dilute the power of that display. So, like I said, keeps the non-branded plants off the brand display. And here's the other thing that's really important that we should talk about, and that is the image of the display. Now, many people have sold plants, and we've had to scramble to get the images at the end. Let me tell you, the first thing you want to do when you set up this display is take an image. And there's a number of reasons for this. One, yeah, we need an image of the display so that we can complete the really our contract and pay you for this. But you guys, you want those images so that you can publicize this. The biggest thing you want to do is to get people that are not on your property at that point also to come in and say, wow, they've got this native plant display. They've got this proven winners plant display. Wow, this is really exciting. You want to get people to come into your place. You need the images so you can post them in different places and get people excited to come in. So payment and the publicity for your customers, those images are really important for you. So that's something that your display captain right there can help you out with, because that's one of the things that's always been the most difficult for you guys as buyers to make happen, and that's getting that image. And we just talked about this. Thank you again for that question that came up earlier for small spaces. You don't have to overfill your display. There's no need. We are we are going to come to your place as often as we can to fill in those gaps. So, and like I said, we know the great looking plants, so we can say, maybe you should get this week, maybe you should get this, or maybe you're going to say, hey, listen, you know something, I've got my display captain tells me we need 100 plants. Can you pick the best 100 plants for me? That's what our guys can do. And so sometimes that really works out well with native plants because there's a lot of different plants. Maybe people don't know them as well, but we know what we got that looks great that week. And just by you saying that, hey, guy, I need 120, I need 50, I need 120, I need 130 plants for this week. Our Pride's Corner teams can make that happen for you. And what I can say is that the other thing that you have to do, not just for your display captain, but for everybody on board, you need to make this important. You need to, there has to be a goal out there. Now, you had a goal because you signed up for a particular level when you decide to be part of the pay to display program. You should keep that goal visible every week, every day, so that everybody sees that where you are. Now, we this is one that Allison created just for keeping track of a Bloomin' Easy program, but something like this is so visible. You know, Allison did a kind of a neat job doing this. You can see that there's 10 sections to each leaf there, so you can fill in the sections if you want there. You know, every 10 plants that you've sold, every 10 plants that you brought in. But the point of the matter is that you want to keep your team involved. You want to see that you're getting towards a goal, and you want to blow that goal out of the water. Because listen, the more plants you sell, the more money you're going to make, and it's good for you, it's good for us. We want you to sell as many plants and take advantage of that display. And one of the ways that you can get your team doing that is keeping them involved, showing them where the sales goal is, doing a countdown on a weekly, daily basis, and keeping them involved. It's a fun way to keep your team excited about it. And of course, you have a team here at Pride's Corner that's vested in trying to make sure that you reach your goal. We want you to sell more. We want you to get your check at the end of the year. And these are the guys that can do it. How are they going to do it for you? Well, they're going to get your weekly updates on where you are. We create a document that goes out to our sales team every week that shows what you purchased, how close you are. They can pass that information on to you. That's really important. You want to know where you are. The worst thing that can happen is that we get to the end of the display and we have done a poor job of telling you how many more plants you have left to reach your goal, and you miss it by 10, 40, 50 plants when you could have done that just by getting that information. We are extremely focused on making sure you're getting that information on a regular basis. Your PCF team can also get you weekly availabilities for each brand, and these are exclusive for the brands also, that will let you know in each brand what's best or what's available for that week. So we're getting you that information, and between you and our team, we can make sure that we're getting those, that we're keeping those displays full, and we're keeping you on the road to your goal. The other thing that we're going to do this year, which I'm pretty excited about, is that we are going to be offering you as signees for the pay to display programs. We're going to be offering you exclusive monthly specials for each program that you've committed to starting in April. So our goal is that we're going to try to drive business where we respect the fact and appreciate that you guys have jumped in and signed up for 1, 2, or all 4 of these displays. And we're going to offer you an opportunity to make even more margin on some of these plants. So we're really excited. It's kind of a new wrinkle for us this year in the pay to display program, but this is another benefit for you guys having signed up for these programs. Now, the other thing you guys got to do, we talked about it a little bit earlier, is to promote your displays to your customers. Now, having it in store is a great thing, and having that ability for your team to just point at a display and say, "Here's where our native plants are. Here's where our proven winners plants are." But in order to get more of those people in there, you have to do a little promotion. So social media, images of your displays throughout the season, that you can drive that. There's no doubt about it. Add pictures of your displays to your website. Let your customers know that you have these great displays that are filled with, these great plants, these easy to grow. And of course, you're making it easier for them to shop these plants they're going to love in their landscape. That it's important for you to continue to drive customers in that way. The other thing we're doing for you is actually listing you as paid display customers on all these national brand sites. So on American Beauties, Proven Winners, First Editions, Bloom and Easy, your names will be on those sites as people that are selling these plants because you've signed up as a paid display program. So these are all ways that we're trying to get business to come in, and you need to do some of that work yourself. You'll be surprised how many. I know a lot of people out there are using emails to get their customers to kind of tell their customers when stuff is coming in. This is another extension of that. What you really want to do is that you want to get these people excited about these displays. Other ways you can do that, have a focus for a weekend on that. Hey, I want come and see our native plant display this weekend. The first week of May, we're doing native plants. Maybe you have you're planning for maybe once a month even that you're focusing on your displays. Hey, it's PW display weekend. Come on in. We have these specials going on for that. All these things allow you to do a little bit to tighten up your marketing program and to give your customers some focus on what you got going on at your garden center. And like I said, email your customers when new plants are coming in. You may let's just say that you posted your display of your original display of proven winners, and but you have a great looking group of stuff that's coming in. Show a picture of those carts coming off with the proven winners stuff coming to your garden center. Show the new layout of your proven winners with the fresh new plants coming in there. This is something that your display captain should be able to help you out with, but giving them the tools and then passing those images on to you is a powerful tool, because as we know, when people are excited about coming out and plant, they are excited to know that you have new stuff coming in. In fact, as you know, at your garden centers, you have many regular customers that come into your store weekly just to see the new stuff coming in. You can prime that pump just by posting those images or just emailing your customer list with a simple picture of great stuff coming in. It's simple but very powerful to get people in the door. And events, Ray, who I know I've seen him commenting a little bit on the chat box. Ray has done a great job with his customers supporting events at customers. What is an event? Well, there's been plenty created over the years. American Beauties seems to be one of the ones that a lot of people find easy to do, to have a native plant weekend and some of that you can look at people in your town. There's conservation groups in your town that you can kind of tie this together with and broaden that appeal to people coming in. There's all kinds of opportunities to keep to create weekends and big events at your garden center. People remember those events. Your customers remember them, and actually your team remembers them. They love getting involved in this stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of setup, but those are the memorable things that you can do at your garden center that make your customers and your team loyal to you. There's no doubt about that. You know, over the years in Proven Winners, there's been pink days they've done, because as we know, Invincible Spirit 2 is a plant that they have out there that has supported breast cancer research. That's a great thing that you can do in the community too. But you guys know your communities well. You know what the people in town are all about, because you are part of that. It makes it easy for you to kind of say, I've got this, how can I make it work with my people, my town, and really become kind of that place where you're doing a community event. Those are powerful, is really what it comes up with too. And as you can see, and you know, Ray's the king of the bee suit, as we say around here, but your team sort of likes it too. They love getting dressed up. It's a great way to get noticed, and it's a great way to have your customers have fun also. So there's really no downside to having an event at your place. So those are a lot of great things that you can do to make your display successful. So what are the problems that are going to become as a result of your displays being successful? You know, I'm putting this up kind of tongue in cheek, because one of the things that we've heard a lot is that, you know, listen, I can't keep the display full. It's selling too much. Maybe I should take the display down. Now that's kind of old school thinking that we can get in front of, but a good problem to have is, quite honestly, is that your plants will sell quickly. We can get you more plants. We've talked about this earlier, but we are your pathway to getting more sales, because we can get you the plants as quickly as possible. So that's a great problem to have, that your plants sell out because they're on the display. Another great problem that'll happen, your team will learn more about each of the programs, and because of that, when they're less busy, they're going to be more comfortable talking about these programs with people. They're going to become more of an expert. It's really what you want them to be. And the displays do a great job of turning people that are hungry for information, not just your customers, but your team are hungry for information, so they can increase their knowledge and they can sell more plants. These displays are great at that, because they concentrate the power of the plants. There's great POP, great tags when it comes to American Beauty's native plants, that you can get those together and people can learn from them. And they can get confidence just by being able to help those people out with displays. So your team is going to learn more as a result of these displays. Well, this is really important in the heat of spring, and we talked about this earlier also. Your team will be able to direct customers, even on the busiest day, to the displays. It's easy for them, it's easy for your customers. People come in and ask, it's one of the big reasons why American Beauty's displays have been so powerful. Where are your native plants? Everybody wants to talk about native plants and do something great in their yard for pollinators or for the environment. So they're out looking for native plants. This display allows your team to be able to point them in that direction. Proven Winners. Listen, they are the most powerful brand in America, powerful plant brand in America right now. They've made headway. People do know Proven Winners plants. You want to be able to send them in that direction. People come in asking all the time, hey, I'm a first-time homeowner. Where are the plants for that? You can point them to a Bloomin' Easy display. You can point them to a First Editions display. The displays will touch customers when your staff is too busy to talk to them. That's an important part of thing. Again, differentiates the plants, gets that vision, that vision in the customer's mind that makes them easy and empowered to buy plants. And let's talk about the customers. Again, that empowerment is a huge thing. If they feel like they can make a better buying decision, they have less issue with parting with their money. They want to buy more. Give them the opportunity. These displays are powerful for that. And when you have done something like that, if you have done something to make your customer's life easier, to make them happy when they leave, they become more loyal to you. And isn't that why you're really in business? You want to have repeat customers that are coming in all the time. You want to make it easy for them. They enjoy coming to your place, that they're talking to their friends about how great it is to come to your garden center because you did X, Y, and Z. You made it possible for them to help pollinators, to give something back, to it made it easy for me to buy. They were great. They made it accessible. All those great things that you can do that a display brings. And that builds loyalty. Loyalty is your ticket to more sales throughout the years. And again, your team's going to have fun. That's an important part of it, especially when you set up these display related events and weekends. It's amazing how we train that monarch to do that and just sit there until we took that picture. That's impressive. Let's see, I'm looking at a question here. I'm sorry to interrupt, but say we cannot budget for more plants to keep the display full going all spring, summer, into fall. If the display is only up for a couple months and we can't, and we sell out of the product and can't buy more, would we be? I'm not sure that I understand the question, but these displays run for a period of time. It's our goal not to run out of plants and to keep that so that you constantly have plants to the end. But I don't know, maybe someone else, Allison or Ray, you want to jump in on that question and see if we can get a great answer for them. Another good thing that can happen is that you sell merchandise. It's not that you never thought you were because it's in your display. There are some people that have had really great ideas out there. We have some images of some wonderful things people have done with furniture, with bird houses, with bat houses, with butterfly houses, with hummingbird feeders, whatever you can think of, wind chimes, that they've cross-merchandised in these displays that has helped not only the plants sell, but it's really kind of promoted that whole lifestyle thing that has made people even want to spend more, not just on the plants, but on those hard goods. So putting those in a display is going to be exceedingly helpful to you. And it's like, we kind of are the experts in our industry about saying, we put shrubs here, we put perennials here, we put annuals here, but that's not what customers really want. They want to see how it works all together. That's why these displays that we have that have both woodies and perennials in them are so important to customers, because we're telling them they can buy them together. But when you're putting together a whole garden at a house, seeing those other things, seeing those things they can do at their house, again, makes it easy for them to want to buy. So cross merchandising is an underused part and a great problem that can happen with your display. And so what's the worst problem, the worst good problem that you can have? Well, you're going to make more money. You're going to make more money selling plants, and you're going to get a check. And we've handed out tens of thousands of dollars in checks to garden centers like you for reaching your goal. And it's always one of those great moments. The bigger part of it is, quite honestly, that you're selling more plants, but it always comes down to the fact that people love that check at the end of the year, and we're happy to provide that for you. And we love taking a picture of happy customers that are getting that check, because that means that you've sold more plants, and it means that we have been successful in supporting you to do that. So we love handing out that check. So we have 4 programs. You can see right here, this is the sign up form for the American Beauty's Native Plants. We have the 2 levels, 400 for AB level 1, 750 for AB level 2. You can see that us talking about those exclusive specials, and each of these programs is set up in a similar way to that. Here's our Bloomin' Easy program. Again, 300 for level 1, 600 for level 2, with the payouts associated with that. Our first editions display form, again, similar levels to the Bloomin' Easy, and the payouts for that. And the Proven Winners program, 4 levels there. And but the ability to make money if you are just starting out, or if you have a big garden center, we are trying to cover every end of it right here. So so if you're here kicking the tires a little bit, you haven't signed up yet, this is a great opportunity after this to sign up, and our teams will be happy to get you on board for this. I think if I'm not mistaken, that the deadline for signing up is actually the end of the week, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at my calendar. Well, it says Saturday. So if you haven't signed up yet, this is a great opportunity. So the recap on all of this: what's the best pay to display? 1, you're going to sell more. 2, your team is going to love it. 3, your customers are going to love it. 4, you and your team and your customers will have fun doing it. And 5, at the end of the year, we're going to give you a check. Those seem like there's a lot of positive points there that you can literally bring to the bank. And we're excited to be able to help you out with this. So I think I can. Well, we're about 5 minutes early. We said this was going to be an hour. If you have other questions, we're happy to answer those to you. I want to thank you for showing up today, and I hope this was great information that makes it easier for you to get things going. Our team will help you out with this. We also will be posting this video and sending it out so that you'll have an opportunity to show it to your staff. There may be some in now, but this is a great opportunity to show them even further about why you're doing this. So we're really excited about this, and I appreciate your time here. I'm going to hang in here for a couple more minutes in case someone else posts another question. But thanks again for your help. We love doing these events and these webinars, and hope to have another one coming your way soon. Thanks to everybody that's posting comments right now. Really appreciate the feedback that you have there. I'm glad this was good information, and for you guys that haven't signed up, we're excited to get you signed up and get you on the road to selling some great plants this spring. So thank you for that. Thanks for showing up, Dave. I appreciate you and your team coming on today. Thanks. Tracy, you got to get back to work at some point with all that inspiration. Come on. It's good to be fired up to get back to work. It's coming, Tracy. It's coming. Maybe you're going to have to bring your cats to work. Maybe that's the thing. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Remember, contact our team if you haven't signed up already. And if not, we'll see you in spring.